Hello, and welcome to the Blacksmith Shop. This is the Blacksmithing 101 class. My name is Lady Thora Volan's daughter, mundanely known as Henrietta Verway, and I am the Lady Blacksmith of the Iron Sunset Forge out here in lovely Bitter End, Africa. I have been blacksmithing now for almost over 19 years, since 2001, and I've been in the SDA since 2004. I was asked to do a class, and I decided that I would start with Blacksmithing 101. How do you set up? What do you need? How do I get this? These are the questions I get a lot. Where did you get your anvil? Where did you get your forge? How do I get coal? How do I light a fire? I've already lit the fire, but we'll talk about that after. Lighting fires can be very tedious in front of a beautiful audience. This is actually my first video class, so this is going to be really cool. I'm going to try and do it in all one shot. I've already done a practice one, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully you can hear me with the hand crank blower motor. And let's talk about that. What do you do to set up? What things do you need? Well, you're definitely going to need basic minimum. A forge, something to hit on like an anvil or a railway tie or a chunk of metal, which would be very Norse, historically accurate. And hammer, tong. I started my first several years with a ball peen hammer. Works perfect. And then a forge. And this is an 1880s hand crank blower motor style, and it's also everything from 1850s or 1800s and up. Now, it's not historically accurate for the 1600s, but for me, when you're first starting, it is more of getting the practice of the technique more than your setup. As you progress, then start adding things to your setup so that it's more historically accurate. It's great to look like you're a Norse blacksmith with all the cool things, but if I ask you a technical question about how do you make that thing, what are you using that hammer for, and you have no idea how to answer me, then you need to have a little more training, a little more studying and so forth, and get together with other blacksmiths to learn this. And this is the other thing. Try blacksmith, get out of your shop. Pop your head out into the sunlight. It won't kill you, maybe. And see what other blacksmiths are doing. I know we love to hang out in our shops and putter along, and the day goes by fast. But it's always neat to get together, video, Zoom, call, see what each other's doing, and share your information. And that's the big thing about blacksmithing for me. So, this is the hand crank blower motor. Hopefully you can hear me while I'm doing this. As I turn that handle, there's two gears inside, and as they spin, they suck the air in, push it down, and as you can see, force the fire out of the coal. I am using what's called the bituminous coal, soft blacksmith coal. I've got a couple of samples here. Soft blacksmith coal goes up to temperatures around 3,400 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's this here. It's very dusty, not very shiny. I can walk away from it, and it'll still be lit. If I bank it, do it properly, I can go for lunch, come back, it'll be fine. Another coal that you can get moderately easily is called farrier's coal, and that's this here. And it's partially cooked. I don't know if you can see the pock marks on it. A little bit different than the two coals. And this is a little bit dirtier. So, if you're doing blacksmithing coal, you can do it either in a shallow pot or a deep pot. If you're using farrier's coal, be careful of the deep pot because it will overheat. This goes over 3,400 degrees Fahrenheit, not completely to 4,000, like anthracite, which is what we used to use in our furnaces. Anthracite, evil for blacksmiths, unless you have a continuous air on it. But then you're also getting into clinker, which is the impurities that are getting cooked out of it, and that's what I'm doing as I'm heating up that coal. I'm turning that handle, and you can see the flame. Eventually you'll start to see a greenish yellow coming off the coal. That's sulfur. Don't inhale that. Don't inhale regular smoke either, but definitely don't try not to inhale that. If you want to get more technical about coal, definitely give me a contact. I am a coal snob. I can I'm not an expert at it, but I do know a little bit about it. So if you have questions, feel free to email me or text me. My website information will be down at the bottom somewhere. Okay, so like I said, we're going to keep this rolling as one thing so that it feels like you're actually standing in front of me watching what I'm doing. Isn't that awesome? But you don't get the smell. The only thing you're missing, the smell. I love that whole smell. Here we go. All right. So, first day of blacksmithing, what the heck do I do? Well, fire control. Fire control is 1/3 of what you do. If you can control your fire, maintain it properly, you will get the optimum for your metal and the heat. You won't be wasting coal, you won't be wasting your time. You'll be able to do things like forge welding very easily. So you need to keep a clean fire. You want to watch out for things like clinker and impurities and stones, and get the stones out for sure. And you want to watch where your fire is going, because coal will just shift around in your fire. The fire will move around. There, now I don't know if you can tell, but there's some nice yellow smoke coming out. Beautiful. I've got some fire brick in the back of my fire to keep it forward and over top of where the air comes in. So, and as you go on, like I said, you'll be able to add to your setup, modify it, change it depending on the era or the culture that you want to represent. Single bellows, double bellows, 2 single bellows, bag bellows, barrel bellows, round bellows, teardrop bellows, box bellows from Japanese style. They're really cool. Very tiring to do, but it's just amazing. Amazing thing. Simplicity. All about the hot air. And also safety. So I am wearing 100% cotton. I have my lovely apron to keep the heat away from me. Also, so I don't burn myself. Shade. Safety glasses. I'm all for accuracy until it gets to the point where you lose an eye. Let's not get that accurate. No 9-finger blacksmith, please. Definitely stay away from polyester and non-natural products. Linen, cotton, leather, fine. Covered toes. I've seen blacksmiths in those too. That's your preference, but I really don't like doing the dance when I'm burning my toes. And yeah, having a water bucket, having a first aid kit, which is inside. Fire extinguisher off to the side, hidden, so it's less, less modern day pieces around, but it's nice to have, just in case. And also, it's important to make sure that you also have a safety line if you're going to be at an event. I'm a strong supporter, or a strong believer about safety lines, because you will get people who have never seen a blacksmith, who've heard about them, but have never seen them and not understand how dangerous this is. You are portraying an actual trade. People have died from this. So let's not reenact that part. We don't want people getting burned accidentally because they don't understand that metal gets dark at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Things like that. We don't want them to get accidentally, you put a hot piece down on the anvil, you're not touching it because you know it's hot. Somebody comes up and actually touches it. Yeah, that's a first aid day. We don't want to have to do first aid class at the same time. Tools that you use in the hardy hole, which is that square hole on your anvil, or in the crystal hole, can get hot from the metal, can keep out that heat. So you don't want to have people accidentally touching that. Always check before you touch something. 3-second rule or 2-second rule. 1, 2, not hot, hit. 1, 2, not hot, okay. You'll see actually older people doing that who've been in blacksmith shops. If they have pieces out on the table or out on display, and they'll, before they touch, because they probably had that experience as a child, and they remember it. As you can see, I can walk away and chat, come back to my bituminous hole, and it's still going. That was anthracite. I'd be relighting that sucker. So, let's get to some more fun stuff, shall we? I'm going to to show you how to go from round to square and square to round. Taper down. I'm going to show you how to do a fishtail scroll and a pigtail scroll, and we'll hopefully get a twist in there as well. If you are interested in the basics, there are so many books out there now. There are so many videos. It's amazing. And there's a lot out there that's free as well. This little book is actually from Europe, England, and it's actually on the internet for free. There's 3 books in this series, and if you put the exact wording, again, I'll try and put that in the description down below. It will come up as a free PDF that you can download or save, because there's a lot of pages. I'd like to say thank you to Sylvia for getting me this book back in 2010. She gifted this to me years and years ago, and I have used it lovingly ever since. And it goes through several lessons. And one of the first lessons in it is, if I can get to the page, how to do different drifts, round to square, square to round. We're just going to do the regular on regular metal, but it will show you how to do all the different techniques, how to make tools, things like that. I know it's not historically accurate, it's made in the 1950s, but it's based off of teachings that have been passed down for centuries. That's my little blurb, the book. Okay. I hope everybody's sitting comfortably. Well, disconcerting talking to an audience that isn't here and having my neighbors drive by. They're all like, oh, she's doing something crazy again. Oh, all right. So, that's my round stock, that's my square stock. I'll be using 3/8 round and 3/8 square. When you're dealing with hammers, like I said, I started off with a ball peen hammer. It has a flat and then it has a curve. That's all your basics that you need, really. A lot of people really like for some reason to use heavier hammers. I am a mid-grade person, and then I'll either, depending on what the metal is, I'll go either heavier or lighter. I don't want to tire out too fast. You get a heavy hammer, yes, that metal will move faster, but then you'll tire out faster as well. So remember that as you're working with a piece. You don't need a 4-pounder to work on 1/4-inch square stock. Mind you, you don't need a 1/2-pounder to work on 2-inch square. Kind of in moderation. So these here are the first pair of tongs that I made, and I took a 3-day course on how to make those. They are left-handed tongs. I hammer with my left hand, and I use my tongs with my right hand. They're called left-handed tongs because I hammer with my left hand. And the reason they're called that is because they fall out of my hand, so I'm not pinching myself. Right-handed tongs, this is a pair right here, as you can see, they fall down this way, so I have a chance of pinching my skin. That's not a fun thing to do. You get used to correcting that. You can modify, pull these in a little bit more. But if you want to make the tongs for the right hand, or the correct hand, you'll have the ability to do that. There we go. Now, the disadvantage of not having a tent over me, per se, that covers the shade, is it's going to be a little difficult for me to see the color of the metal to know when I get to that temperature. A nice orange yellow, that means the molecules in the metal will move better for you. There we go. Sometimes it's nice just watching the fire. You also want to keep your metal into the neutralized zone of the fire. There's oxidizing, neutralizing, and reducing. Neutralizing is in the middle. That's where you're going to get the most heat. That's where you're going to get the best heat. The most heat will be on the bottom of the fire, but then you have a chance of burning it, and you really don't want to do that. That's a nice fire right now. It's not too smoky. The coal is nicely getting cooked. Okay. So for my square one, we're going to do what's called SOR. Okay. Just starting out, yep. So SOR is what's called square, octagon, round. So you're going to take that, and you're going to put it on its corners, and you're going to make it into an octagon. And then you're going to hammer down on those lines again into making it into a round. I'm probably playing with the fire more than I should, but I think that's a nice red at least. So this one here we're going to make from round to square and taper it down. So, and my stance, as you can see, I am standing, I'm bending at the knees. You might be able to see that. Bending at the knees, elbows are in, metal's close to the hip. That's part of the reason why you want the apron, so that it's not all wobbly and bouncing all over here. You want to be in control of the metal at all times. So started the round to the square. I don't know if you can see that properly. Okay. There we go. It is a light red orange. Can't see that with the coloring. So I want to put it on my corners. And you want to keep it tight to the hip. Don't be so tight that you're punching like that, because you want to be able to have a loose handle. Turn it again on this corner. That's my first pass, my first real pass. As you can see, hopefully, I'm starting to knock off those sharp edges. Hopefully this isn't too confusing, me multitasking. I want to show you as much as I can in the short amount of time as we have. Now these are two of the main things that you're going to be using a lot of. And as you're rounding that out or squaring it out, you're also drawing that metal forward. There we go. Close to the hip again. You lift it up slightly, get a little bit of air underneath it. Keep keep your thumb off to the side. Head off to the side too so you don't smack it. That's my little public service safety announcement. Now as you get closer to the end and it starts to get smaller, you'll want to be over the edge so that you're not hitting your anvil with the side of your hammer. Slowly getting there. And when you're working on something, you put it in the fire, you work on it on the anvil, and you put it back in the fire. That's considered one heat. If you're blacksmith say, oh, that was like 5 or 10 heats. That's what that means. Or they'll have a couple more heats. That's what that means. It's nice to look at the fire, but don't constantly stare at the fire because you don't want to injure your eyes either. There we are. Up on the hip. You want to go down the length. You can do it either way. You can do hammering down the length. Just hammering down the length, or moving the metal under the hammer. Try and go more with the elbow or the shoulder. You don't want to do a lot of the wrist movement, then you'll injure yourself with that for sure. Why am I not wearing gloves, Sora? Well, why aren't I wearing gloves? Well, the main reason is I don't want to lose grip of my hand on the hammer, and I don't want to get in the bad habit of picking up hot metal that's dark. Because if you're wearing gloves and something's warm hot, you'll grab that and you go, oh, warm. If I do that without gloves, you're going to get burned. So that's the big thing. If I'm using the propane forge, I will have a glove on my tong hand, because that's the piece that my hand and everything is going into that fire that's coming out this way, where this fire is going up. I think I was on the round. Yeah, I saw it. Ooh, I'm going to be able to see that. Hopefully. There we go. On the hip. Bring it down. Turn it. And I'm doing a 180 turn. Less motion, more action. You're not losing or wasting that heat. Starting to get a little bit better there with the point. Try not to push the ashes or the flakes of metal off with your hand. I am bad for that, but I try and do as I say, not as I do. Hopefully. Alright. So with this technique, you can start with that pointing technique that I'm going to show you. You can start by making the point. You see that? The point of your very first fire poker. And that's my first fire poker right there, actually. I'm doing a little bit of a longer draw out on this one than I did on that one, but yeah. Follow the lines down, drawing out that bottom piece. Again, stance, you want to be able to move like rapier or armored combat. You want to have control of where your feet are going, right? Not too far out. You don't want to be over tippy. There. Getting there. Take my time. Alright, okay. Now I'm going to use the flatter side just to get some of the dents out. I've used the convex. Convex? Concave? Yeah, convex. To push that metal out more. Now I probably should have a shorter piece of metal because my elbow's really back here. But yeah. We're almost there. One more heat for this one. Make it all pretty. Couple more heats for the next one. There we are. And again, down the eyes. Now that I've got it really looking more like an octagon, you can see how it's got the lines going down and it's slowly starting to get rounded. There we go. The bees in the area are not sure about me right now. Nice color. Don't inhale before you go down to breathe off the... Just another PSA. Okay. So again, I'm going to straighten out, make that pretty. Now if you're not 100% sure if something is straight and smooth, put it at a far angle away from you and look down the line. It's not 100% perfect, but for the purposes of today, gives you a good idea of what I'm doing, or what you should be doing. So, now we're going to do what's called swishy swish method. Put it in the water and swishy swish. Hear the hissing sound? Swishy swish. And if you've got a spot that doesn't go in the water, use your water straw. There you go. Square to round, round to square, into a point. Nice. Okay, next one. Aha. You can check out your local blacksmith guild. Most of the provinces across Canada, a lot of the states have a guild from the Abana Association, Artist Blacksmith Association North America. Cross-pollination kind of thing. If you're looking for information, how to blacksmith, who your blacksmith is in the area, places to practice if you don't have a forge. Sometimes they will have, I know here in Avocale we have Blacksmith Guild in Leduc. They used to, or they usually get together once a month, not right now. And they have a spot where they have forges, so if you don't have one, you can go try it out. And you probably have something like that in your area as well. Find the local blacksmith. Offer to volunteer time. I was fortunate enough that after I took my artist blacksmithing course at Saskatchewan Fleming College, that I met Robert Vaughn out of Ottawa, and he's been blacksmithing over 30 years. He's retired now, but I was fortunate enough to be able to apprentice with him. And that man has so much information. I was very fortunate to have him as a mentor, and still have him as a mentor, even 4 provinces away. And he was fun to blacksmith with too. Nice color. There we go. So, down the octagon. The more heat as well, the more heat, the more movement you get. Now I'm going down the other line. And because there is a slight breeze now, I'm hoping my dead cat that I made, which is a microphone thingy, dampens that air so that you don't get that background noise. Also remember to drink lots of water. Mainly because you're going to be sweating, you're not going to realize it because the air is going to be drying you off at the same time. There we go. Now I'm not sure how much information you're looking for and how much I'm giving, and hopefully you're learning something from this. Like I said, this is going to be a base, and then the next year I'll add more, do a different next level, things like that. So again, here, follow the lines, make sure your stance is good, bend at the knees so you're not over. I know, repetition. Don't hold too tight. I do recommend earplugs, but because I'm talking on there and dealing with this, I don't want to, I got to figure out what my volume is for you. I don't want to be screaming at the cell phone, but I don't want to be so quiet you can't hear me either. But I do recommend ear protection as well. You can put them in when somebody asks you a question, pop it out. You can get ones that aren't bright orange, so they're not as conspicuous. Because that ringing will get to you after years of doing this. Or you can use it as an excuse not to listen to your husband. Well, what about you? What? Sorry. Then fire control. This has been a beautiful fire. I haven't really had to do too much to it. A little bit more coal now that the coal's cooking. Nice colors. There we go. See, I'm getting closer to the edge. My metal is not over the edge. It's like right above or like an 8 beside it, just so that my hammer is over the edge. Okay, nice. Maybe two more heat. Put that back in the fire. That's the next project. Don't have too many irons in the fire, because A, that'll suck away the heat, and B, you'll forget what you're doing. You get 3 or 4 as you get more and more experience. But you want to have as many so you don't know what you're doing anymore. This is actually very relaxing. It's kind of meditative. Go by, make a wheeler horse and buggy. about blacksmithing. We'll get to the leg vise in a minute. There. So, just want to smooth out those edges now. And you can go over and over and over as long as you want, or as often as you want, as much as you want, to make it as smooth or less smooth. Some blacksmiths prefer to have hammer marks, some blacksmiths don't. Like the saying goes, there's many ways to make a nail. And again, check to make sure that it's fairly straight. A little spot there. Now look down the length so that you can see how it looks from a distance, that 10-foot rule. I don't think the 1800s forge will go with the 10-foot rule and looking like a North forge, but you're just learning how to do things, which is cool. So there we go. And that is square to round. Nice round point. Hopefully you can see that, but on a white corner. Not too bad. Now if I were to make this, you can make this into a traditional wrist, punch. There you go, you can start making tools right away. Or a point on your fire poker, pigtail scroll. Ooh, pigtail scroll. Let's show you how to make a pigtail scroll. Good segue, head for us, yeah. So, put that in the fire. Heat up the metal. I'm going to be using 1/4-inch square stock for this one. To show you how to do a quick pigtail scroll. There we go, nice heat. Put it on its edges with a square octagon round. Turn it over. Make a point. Put heat back in the fire. What I'm working on next, since I have a captive audience, I'm going to make an S-hook. Usually one of the first things I get an apprentice to do is to make an S-hook. It's something simple, they can do a lot of techniques with it, and it's something they can bring home with them in one day. Go. Nice color. I don't know if you can see that because of the lovely sun. I'm just going to thin out that end a little bit more faster. And then do the square octagon round again. Hopefully it's a beautiful sunny day where you are. It's gorgeous. We've been getting rain off and on, wind off and on. Making it fun for blacksmithing, that's for sure. Because this is smaller metal and I'm getting more of an optimum heat for my fire, the metal will heat up faster, so watch your metal. That was only a couple turns and now it's hot again. Octagon, following the lines down, making it into a round. And also, as you're hammering on top, the anvil is hammering basically on the bottom, so you're getting a double hit effect. Nice. And there we go. Nice. Warm. Keep Keep it on the neutralize of your fire, not in your oxidization or the reducing. The reducing, you won't get much heat. Yeah. So here I'm going to round it over to make a pigtail. So as you're hammering here, you want to push down here, so you're getting a double effect again. And you don't want a lot, half an inch at the most, down. And you take it, turn it over 180. So this is where you really want it tight on your hip. And then you're going to be circling it and then hammering up, and moving that up. Okay? Towards you in a circle motion. You're going to be using all of the anvil. That smushes it forward, up against the hip again, and then down on the top. Now, as you're making your pigtail scroll, go with the metal. If it's going something wonky, and you see me doing this, but it's not going the way you want it, stop and see what's going on, and change your technique. It doesn't always have to be the same way. The metal will make sure of that. And there's your pigtail scroll. That nice, very nice pigtail scroll. Go wipe that down. So, back in the fire. Make sure your pigtail's facing up. You don't want it facing down. You don't want to melt it off if you're going to continue making stuff like this. This, I'm going to be making a curvature on this side for the S. I'm going to quench the pigtail if you don't want to hit that. Just a little bit. Bring it over on the horn. Keep it close to the hip. Push down at the same time, bring it forward a little bit so you get more air. And as you bring it forward, you want to put the metal where the air is. If that makes sense, on your horn. Hook it underneath, hold it tight so it doesn't go flying on you. And there you go. All nice and neat. Now I'm going to mark this, because that's a really long S-hook. I'm going to use this as a hot cut hardy. And as I was saying, there's a square here, and that's a hardy hole for hardy tools. So I'm going to measure it. You can get technical with the measurement, or you can just put this in fancy free. So whatever you want. Heat up that section. And of course, you can see in the back, I've made a space in my fire brick that I can put a little bit longer pieces if I need to. And there's that yellow smoke you don't want to inhale. And there are a lot of tools that you can make for the hardy tool, fullering tools, bending forks, just so many things. It's amazing. Maybe I should have recorded this in the afternoon, then the shade would be over me. You want to stop your fire, if you're cranking it and you find the heat, try and stop your blower motor. Don't force your bellows to stop though, just so that you don't have ashes coming up. Now I've marked that So I can slide it across, and I can feel that divot. Hit it once, slide it across. Don't hit it several times, you'll get an accordion look. Slide it again. Try not to hit the hardy tool itself, just the metal. Now, because I'm out in the gracious area, I'm going to use another pair of tongs, because I magically had them in my hand, and cut them that way. Again, the reason is, that may look whole, just to the naked eye, but, if we listen, that sucker was hot. So, we don't want to do that. Safety first. You don't want a little child thinking, oh, I can grab that easily, oh, I'll help the blacksmith, and then they burn their little fingers. You'll feel really bad. And they'll feel really bad. So always think of your surroundings. Where are the other blacksmiths you're working with? You don't want to turn around with a piece of metal sticking out of your tongs, and all of a sudden you have a branding session going on. You know, walk around with them facing down. Hot metal coming through. Little things like that. I went to one of my first conventions back in 2004, 2003. It was interesting watching solitary blacksmiths working with other groups, like with group of blacksmiths, because they were not used to it. And things that they would normally do, and I would normally do in my own shop, sometimes aren't as safe when you have other people around. And you have to be conscious of that. Would I do this if there was another person here? Maybe, maybe not. Even a little, I've got hot metal behind you, so that the blacksmith who's here knows that you're walking behind them, just so that you're not getting in front of the audience or getting in their way, kind of thing. So we're done with the hot cut hardy. We'll put that off to the side. Now I'm going to show you how to do a fishtail scroll. As I'm heating that metal up, I'm going to be doing a different technique. I'm going to be squishing out the metal or flattening out the metal, which is another technique that will be awesome for you to know. Again, another way to make a drift, or a punch, or chisel. So you're going to hold it tight again to your hip. Ergonomics is always good. Shoulders back. And this, you're not having to do too much. You're just flattening it out. So you want to be aware of where the metal is going. If it's going too much on one side this way, flip it around so that that same hammering habit that you have, you're pushing that metal again. So if it's, there you go. So if it's hammering only to one side, then turn it over, hammer it to the other side, and there we go. So squish this to 1/4 of a thickness. You see that? Hopefully. Anything in? Yeah. The scales are faster to make. You don't need to crank hard. If you've got a really good bellows, you don't need to pump hard. It's just to make sure the fire's consistent. Okay, so we want to round that up a bit to hold tight against the body. Have it over a little bit over your anvil. Hammer the corners. As many as you can see, there's many ways to do that. The metal's not going the way you want it. Try a different technique. Try a smaller hammer for this one. And there you go, there's a flat, tapered end. Now, because I'm making an S, I want that curl to go the same direction as my first curl. I'll show you what I mean. You always got to be 3 steps ahead of what you're doing and what you're making, so you know if you're doing it, how you're hammering it, what the end is going to look the way you want it to. Metal can do fun stuff on it. Okay, so then I'm going to have it curling this way. Up against the hip a bit, over the horn, and you can do this over here too. There's no saying you have to do it on the horn. You can do it here, curl it around, again pushing down with the other hand so you're getting optimum use in that heat. And again, curving it around, use the front to straighten out the edge. There's my first fishtail scroll of the day. I gave them. Quench that a little bit. Let's put that back in the fire. You can even make your own shovel, by the way. When you get to that stage where everything all your tools are handmade. That's always a treasure to have. And as you can see, I don't have to be a big burly person. Just I can lift my anvil by myself, but I'm using 1/4" stock. I don't have to use 2" stock. I don't have to make Queen's Own Gates of the Parliament Hill by myself at 4" square solid stock. Very open opportunity trade. Don't know smoke. I have taught people from the ages of 15 all the way to the ages of 90, possibly older. And again, I want to quench that fishtail scroll. The fishtail, you want the rest of the metal to curve. Just tight in the wolf jaw tong, hammer down with the hand. And when I say hand, I want to put air underneath the metal so I can push the metal into it. Pour it over. Straighten it out a little bit. And voila, we have an S. Excellent. There we go. Now I'm going to show you another thing. Put that back in the fire. So right here, hopefully you can see this. This is a leg vise. Very traditional tool in the blacksmith shop. I have this on a portable table. You can have it on a post. There's so many different ways of having a vise nowadays for portability. I welded it in here so it doesn't pop out on me. Does need a little TLC, but we haven't got to that yet. And now I'm going to use a pair of this here. There's dirt on my hand. I'm like, this here is a blacksmith wrench. You can tell that by the twist. This is something that you would have made as a journeyman blacksmith in your toolbox. The average European apprenticeships were usually between 5 and 7 years, depending on where you were in the era. And then after you were done, you would have done what's called your journeyman journey. And that would have been, in Germany, it's 2 years plus a day. The reason I know that is because we had some journeyman blacksmiths come out a couple years ago and do a tour across Canada, and they stopped in here in Avakill. It was very cool to meet them. They popped in for 2 days, wearing traditional 15th century garb, which looked more like 1970s. Very cool though. And learned a lot from them, and I hope they learned a few things from us. And it was really neat to see that tradition continuing on, even to this day. So you have the option nowadays, if you're doing your journeyman in Germany, to either do an advanced continuation in Germany, a traditional, like a modern day one, or to do the traditional journeyman program, which is 2 years in a day to go anywhere in the world and learn blacksmithing. The same techniques, but different ways from other blacksmiths. So, excellent. I'm going to take that, we'll see how that teaches. Nice orange, reddish. Let's put that into the spike. Hopefully you can see this. Put it up on a tall path and turn. Try and keep it nice and straight. Voila! Easy, easy. And there we have a twist. Nice little twist right there. Isn't that awesome? You have your fishtail and your pigtail scroll with a twist. And now you have your first tool. Not too bad. I'd like to thank everybody who came out. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative. If you have questions, definitely, if this is on the Saturday for the E-TUA, there will be a chat after this. Definitely ask me then. If you have any questions and it's not from E-TUA, definitely get a hold of me through the Facebook or through the YouTube. And yeah, keep on smithing. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. In one complete clip, as if you were standing in front of my forge space, and that we were all together in one area. So instead of across the country, which is still cool, by the way. You might see. So I put newspaper, just chunks of kindling. Bituminous is good for that. You can light it like a campfire. There's no one set way of making the fire. Sometimes I'll make a donut hole, what they call a donut, which is taking the newspaper and wrapping it around a donut, putting your kindling inside. Today I've decided to wrap the kindling and put them on top. Sometimes you can make a teepee, depending on whatever you want to make. However it works for you. So my favorite saying, there are many ways to make a nail. So, of course I have a huge audience with my camera. We'll see if we'll fire light. I have an issue with it. You can always go this way. Ready? Ready? Get it! Ooh! Good girl. Fetch! 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 Fetch!